Are you wondering if there's any significance to Mr. Cody's room number? Or how about the lead programmer, Steven? Is there anything more to the man and woman in trench coats in the story? Or maybe you're wondering about the Vesuvian Terrier, Nova's dog breed. What's the deal with that? Okay. Hi, I'm Marvin Jeff, and welcome to Book Explorer. In this video, or a series of videos, I will be commenting on the little nuances and Easter eggs that you can find in this story. And the comment section below not only serves as a place to comment about the video, but also a place to comment about the book and discuss it with myself or any other readers that have commented in the section. All right? Okay, so let's get started. Vesuvian Terrier. What's that about? Well, it kind of serves two purposes. Okay, one, right off the bat, you can tell that a Vesuvian Terrier is not a real dog breed. So the first purpose was kind of to set this world apart a little bit and displace it from our own as a way to show that it's not the normal timeline or dimension or whatever you want to call it that we live in. So, and a lot of other science fiction stories, there'll be some kind of mechanism that kind of displaces that society away from the normal society, and it's really kind of blatant in your face. This one's a little bit subtle, so that it's not something that's completely different from where we're at. Okay, so that was the first purpose. It was a little tool to use to, it's one of the little tools I used to help show that it was a different world that they were in, the setting. The other purpose is something completely different. There's a dog that I kind of got engraved in my memory when I was in middle school, and it was a picture of a dog I saw in a social studies book. Okay, and back then, well, maybe I still do now, but I enjoyed looking at and reading social studies books. And you're going to say, "Oh, that's boring," but for some reason, I liked looking at the maps and learning about history and things like that. So there was this dog, anyway, that was kind of lying upside down, and it was dying because, well, it was kind of frozen in its dying state because it was a victim of the Vesuvian eruption in Pompeii. So that's why I call it Vesuvian Terrier. That's kind of like where that came from. A little tribute to that dog I remembered many, many years ago, engraved in my brain from that page of the social studies book. Let's go back to David wonders why he wasn't born as a real boy. Okay, that's a little bit of a reference to David from the movie AI, Artificial Intelligence, because that was one of the movies that made an impact on me. I love that movie because of the whole aspect of something that's not human thinking it's human or wishing it could be human. And that's an ongoing theme that I've seen in a lot of movies that for some reason attracts me a lot. It's the android believing that they want it to be human. That's covered a lot also in Philip K. Dick stories, things like that. But anyway, that was a little bit of a reference to the David from that movie, so I added that to the story. Why? Also, the director of that movie is Steven Spielberg, which I enjoy a lot of his work, definitely, and that's why I named the lead programmer, Steven. That's where that came from. A little Easter egg again. And not only is Steven given a little bit of a tribute in the book, but because he had such an impact on me growing up during the 80s and watching the work he's done in the 80s, I decided to use little bits and pieces of things you would find in the 80s in this setting to kind of make you think, well, this is not real, right? It's another tool I use to kind of displace it from the normal world. Like, for example, when you go to the arcade in the story, they have virtual reality headsets, okay, high-tech kind of stuff, and training simulators that teachers use, more high-tech stuff, okay. However, the telephones still have cords, and they're still kind of using answering machines. Those are kind of things you would find from the 80s, answering machines. and also old metal lunch boxes that are embossed. I remember I had one as a kid growing up in the 80s, a red 101 Dalmatians lunchbox. I didn't call it 101 Dalmatians in the book, but I just had a red trim. It was embossed, a metal emboss, and it had Dalmatians on it. So that was my little memory from the 80s. So adding those little pieces of the 80s along with some high-tech futuristic stuff, kind of, I was hoping for the effect of saying, wait, this is weird. This is not the world that we live in. This is something else. This is something displaced from our normal world. So those were the little references to Steven Spielberg, David, and some little bits of 80s pieces. Why are they in there? That's why. All right. So if you're interested in learning more, I have more stuff to talk about in this book and other books as well. Please hit that subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, and if you liked it. And if you haven't done so, please consider leaving a review for Mr. Cody on Amazon. It would help me tremendously and it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you and have a great rest of the day.